Let me tell you something about the human ego. It's a quiet force, a subtle undercurrent hidden just beneath the surface of every choice we make, every word we speak, every silence we hold. We like to believe we are rational beings, guided by logic, reason, and free will. We pride ourselves on making objective decisions. But if we're being truly honest with ourselves, so much of what we do, so much of who we are, is a constant, delicate negotiation. A negotiation between the fragile voice of our inner self and the world's reflection of who we think we are. That negotiation has a name. It is the ego. And here's the strange thing, the beautiful and sometimes terrifying thing about it. The ego is both the mask we wear and the mirror we stare into. It's the grand, sweeping story we tell ourselves about who we are, but it can also be the prison that keeps us from seeing who we might truly become. Psychologists have studied this for decades. It was Sigmund Freud who popularized the term, describing the ego as the great mediator, the referee standing between our most primitive, instinctual desires, what he called the ID, and our higher, moralistic ideals. The superego. Think of it like this. Your ID wants the entire cake right now. Your superego says you should be on a diet, and your ego is the one that says, okay, let's just have one small slice. It's the part of us that tries to navigate the messy reality of being human. But it's so much more than a simple psychological concept. The ego is deeply personal. It's that feeling of defensiveness that flares up when someone criticizes your work. It's the flush of pride you feel when you receive a compliment. It's the voice in your head that compares your life to the perfectly curated highlight reels you see on social media. It whispers, "Are you good enough? Are you successful enough? Are you loved enough?" It's constantly seeking validation, constantly building a fortress to protect our sense of worth. And that fortress, my friends, is incredibly fragile. One critical comment, one perceived failure, one moment of rejection can feel like a wrecking ball, sending tremors through the very foundation of who we believe ourselves to be. This is the fragility of the ego. It's like a balloon. It takes a lot of effort to inflate, but only a tiny pinprick to burst. Why is it so fragile? Because it's built on external validation. The ego thrives on praise, titles, possessions, and the approval of others. It's a house of cards built on a shaky table. When we rely on these external things to define our worth, we give away our power. We become puppets, and the world holds the strings. If someone compliments us, we soar. If someone ignores us, we crash. This emotional roller coaster is exhausting, and it keeps us from connecting with a deeper, more stable sense of self. It's the reason we might stay in a job we hate for the prestigious title, or chase after relationships that don't fulfill us just to avoid being alone. The ego convinces us that our value is conditional, that it depends on what we achieve and how others see us. Think about a time you made a mistake. What was your first reaction? For many of us, it's a wave of panic, a desperate urge to justify, to blame someone else, or to hide it completely. That's the ego in full-blown defense mode. It perceives the mistake not as a learning opportunity, but as a direct attack on its competence, its very identity. The ego says, I am not someone who makes mistakes. So, when a mistake happens, it creates a painful cognitive dissonance. To resolve this, the ego will go to incredible lengths: denial, projection, rationalization, anything to avoid facing the simple human truth that we are all imperfect. This defensiveness closes us off to growth. If we can't admit we're wrong, we can't learn how to be right. Now, let's be clear. The ego isn't inherently evil. It's a necessary tool for survival. A healthy ego helps us set boundaries, have self-respect, and navigate the social world. It's what gives us the drive to achieve our goals and the confidence to stand up for ourselves. The problem arises when the ego takes over the driver's seat. When we become so identified with this constructed self that we lose touch with our authentic core being. The ego wants to be special, to be separate, to be better than, but our true self, our soul, our consciousness, whatever you want to call it, knows that we are all connected, that we are all part of something much larger. It finds joy not in being better than others, but in connecting with them. So, how do we handle this fragile, demanding part of ourselves? We don't try to destroy it. That's a battle you'll never win, because trying to destroy the ego is just another ego-driven quest. Instead, we learn to observe it. We practice mindfulness. We become the silent watcher of our own thoughts. When that defensive feeling rises up, instead of reacting, we can pause and ask, there's my ego. What is it trying to protect right now? What fear is driving this reaction? By simply noticing it, we create a space between the trigger and our response. In that space lies our freedom. We can choose to act not from a place of egoic fear, but from a place of conscious awareness. This process is about moving from I am my thoughts to I am the one who observes my thoughts. It's about detaching our sense of self-worth from external outcomes. Your value as a person doesn't fluctuate based on your successes or failures. You are inherently worthy just by being you. When you start to internalize this truth, the ego's grip begins to loosen. You can receive criticism without feeling personally attacked because you know it's feedback on an action, not a verdict on your soul. You can celebrate the success of others without feeling envy because their light doesn't dim your own. You become more resilient, more compassionate, and more authentically yourself. This journey of taming the ego is a lifelong practice. It's not a one-and-done deal. There will be days when your ego screams for attention and wins. That's okay. The goal isn't perfection, it's awareness. Every time you catch yourself in an ego-driven pattern, you are strengthening your muscle of consciousness. You're learning to differentiate the voice of fear from the voice of wisdom. You relearning to take off the mask and be comfortable with the beautifully imperfect face in the mirror. You are learning to let go of the story you've been telling yourself, so you can begin to write a new one story of connection, growth, and authentic self-expression. It's about finding the courage to be vulnerable, to be seen not for the person you're pretending to be, but for the person you truly are. Thank you so much for joining me on this exploration today. If this resonated with you, I'd be so grateful if you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more conversations like this. It truly helps us grow and reach more people. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.